A dead image is not an image of death. A dead image is an image that has been torn from its context, severed from the conditions of its creation. It is malleable and untethered, lending itself to arbitrary use. A dead image is not a living image, nor is it a dying image. It is a likeness of existence, no longer generated by the reality it once bore witness to, but by the needs of whoever deploys it.
There has been a noticeable increase in demand for Palestinian art and culture in 2025, more than 2 years into Palestinians in Gaza live streaming their own death. Including from institutions that previously actively, passively censored Palestinian voices and Palestinian solidarity, showcased Israeli government-funded propaganda disguised as art, remained silent under the guise of alleged neutrality. This shift in demand seemed to coincide with a global shift in opinion about Israel after more than 2 years of a relentless and ongoing genocide, 20 years of blockade, 58 years of illegal occupation, 78 years of ongoing Nakba. As demand for Palestinian content by the art-consuming public increased, Palestinian art and artists went from being ignored, disinvited, censored, due to pressure from donors, institutional fear of controversy, structural racism within the institution, external Zionist pressure campaigns, to being sought after. There are benefits to the increased circulation of Palestinian art: increase in visibility and recognition, shift in public discourse, psychological validation, community building. Yet these developments are not translated into material changes on the ground. Increased dissemination of Palestinian art, much like the increased visibility of Palestinians, living or dead, on its own has been unable to alter the root systematic conditions that produce inequality and violence in so-called liberal democracies.
Death. Noun. A state, a condition, an irreversible cessation of all biological functions that sustain a living organism. Death is the endpoint, whether literal or figurative. It cannot be sensed or comprehended. It is a threshold that cannot be described from within. Dying. Verb. An operation, a transition. The process, which includes the physical, emotional, social, and spiritual changes that occur as a person approaches the end of life. Dying is durational, embodied, and experiential. It can be described and investigated. Its operations are knowable and can be mitigated and even reversed. Death is absolute. Dying is unfinished.
Representation and visibility meet the limits of their efficacy when they counter imperial interests. Without material demands, policy change, accountability, they are rendered moot, performative. They become absorbable by the institution as proof of progress, while leaving intact all the underlying political, legal, social, economic structures. They neutralize dissent through offering recognition without accountability, replacing structural change with a gesture towards change, offering identity politics in place of material politics. Cultural institutions in capitalist societies operate according to market logic, so the increase in demand for Palestinian art could be understood as strategically financially beneficial. Cultural institutions showcasing Palestinian content can boost attendance, increase profit, present themselves as liberal, legitimate, relevant, responsive, while increasing their cultural capital in the contemporary art market. This also has the added benefit of art washing any past missteps, help avoid accountability, give a false sense of political engagement, being usable for plausible deniability against future liability.
To contemplate death is to confront an end, a state of abstract certainty. Death presents itself to us only to be acknowledged, remembered, or ritualized, but not altered. It is the end of action. What remains is mourning, interpretation, and explanation. To contemplate dying is to confront a process. Dying is something we witness. It demands attention, care, and response. It shapes our lives, decisions, behaviors, and ethical positions. Where dying calls for engagement, death permits only reflection.
The purpose of Palestinian cultural production since 1948 has been the emphasis in support of Palestinian life, inviting the audience to join the revolutionary struggle against the forces of Zionist colonial erasure, and stand in solidarity with the Palestinian struggle for liberation. Palestinian political and civil society for the past 2 years of relentless and ongoing genocide, 20 years of blockade, 58 years of illegal occupation, 78 years of ongoing Nakba, have been demanding accountability and responsibility. Calling for arms embargo, political and economic sanctions, cultural and academic boycott, to put pressure on Israel to grant refugees the right of return, end the occupation, the apartheid, the ethnic cleansing, the land theft and settlement expansion, the genocide. Detaching Palestinian work from that context by ignoring those material demands reduces Palestinian art to representation. Without its potential for material transformation, Palestinian cultural production is torn from its context, its purpose, and is diluted into an aesthetic object, a commodity flattened into an image, a dead image.
A dead image is a consumable symbol, detached from the world it came from. A dead image is malleable yet inert, existing without accountability to the lives it depicts, mobilized to serve the purposes required by individuals, institutions, market forces, and power structures. A dying image is not a dead image. A dying image stands in relation to the world it came from, fighting for its historical, political, and social anchor, asking for engagement, accountability, intervention, and solidarity. It battles against capture, struggles not to be co-opted by its modes of distribution, resists being reduced to a spectacle. A dying image is an image that speaks, that demands a response.